Your story. You're watching WCBI Sunrise.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So Nick Carson is joining me in studio with Benton's Military Hardware for our weekly What You Need to Know Wednesday segment. So before we get into everything on the table today, we have a few pictures we want to show you if we can pull that up real quick. So Nick, you actually sent in these to me, and can you explain to our viewers what this is?
So what we're looking at here is we're looking at some roots growing inside of these pipes, and these are actually my pipes because I did a little bit of maintenance on the house. And as you can see, those are some roots growing up in there. Now, that's not as invasive as it can get. I mean, it can really fill up the entire pipe if you're not careful. So these images show like how that can get in the way, and that can be a problem because it can keep things from getting through your drain pipes in your house. So it'll keep your toilets from flushing. It'll cause your sinks to clog. It can really be a major issue with your plumbing.
Now I have a question. So I know you're renovating your house, so you're doing tons of stuff, but did you notice that there was an issue that made you decide to kind of clean out that pipe?
Yeah, so I noticed that there was just some weird stuff going on with a couple of the bathrooms in the house, and I was like, I need to look at this. And I figured out it was one specific line, and I was like, well, let's go dig a little deeper, and ended up finding that.
Awesome. Okay, so you've got a few things for our viewers that we want to try out, and I want to say, last time you were in studio, you said your mission for 2026 is to show people how to properly use stuff and not to have them use stuff improperly because it can be potentially dangerous. Yeah. So the first product I wanted to, since we've talked about the roots, I want to show you something that I've actually used. I actually used this product. It is this Robec K77 root killer. The primary ingredient in this guy is copper sulfate. And basically what that does is it kills the roots. It prevents the roots from growing any further without killing the tree. According to the research I did on copper sulfate, it will kill the roots up to a certain point. And then it won't go any further. So you don't have to deal with killing a tree and then having a dead tree in your yard leaning over your house. Because that could be bad too.
That could be very bad. It says on the packaging that it is safe for regular septic tanks and gives very detailed instructions on how to use it. Always read the instructions to make sure you don't get yourself hurt. Specifically, it talks about the limits on how much you should put in your lines. So make sure, just because you have the whole bottle doesn't mean you should always use it.
Now, is this I'm going to hold this up for our viewers too to see. Is this more of a sprinkle product, or is this something you put in like a sprayer?
So that actually, you pour it down in your toilet bowl and you flush it. And then you flush it until it's completely run into the line. And what it'll do is it'll see those roots we saw in that image. It'll get rid of those roots. It'll go and take care of them and push them back to where they're not invading your lines anymore.
Interesting. Okay, so what about this second product we have here on the table?
So last week we talked about what's it called? Sulfuric acid.
Yes.
So that is one drain cleaner, and I felt like, well, we missed out on touching some of the other ones. So this is what's called sodium hydroxide, also known as lye. And lye is a very popular product because, as it says on the product, it uses heat to open up your drain. So it'll heat up any grease, any hair, anything like that, and make it go down the drain. This was for toilets. This one you do not put in the toilet. It says very clearly on the instructions, do not put that in your toilet. You want to put it in your sink, in your tub, in your shower, and always follow the instructions. You leave this one overnight because it's not an acid, it's a basic. So the longer you give it to work, the better it'll do.
Okay, awesome. And then what is this?
So that is actually a drain snake. And basically, it's kind of like the drain snake I showed you before. But this one, you've got a little bit more length to it. And it's super cool. I actually have one of these back at my house. And you unscrew this cap here, and you can push this all the way down your line. And you want to wear gloves because you don't want to touch anything that comes out. So you can push that down into your line, and then you can turn it and spin it and whatnot, and make it knock loose whatever's in there.
So I know we were talking about sinks and toilets. Can that go in either or?
Yes. Or this one, no. This one is specifically designed for a sink. For a toilet, you're probably going to want to use that auger that we talked about last week. Okay.
Well, Nick, this is all good information. And again, guys, like we said, always make sure to read your instructions. If it says not to use something in a certain area, we highly recommend that you don't. But Nick, if anyone has any questions, they can always come see you at Benton's Military Hardware. Guys, I'll be right back after the break.